Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go Monday show, July 8th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Coming up on 66,000 subscribers on that platform. Subscribe to Woodward Sports. Tell a friend about us as well. Gang's all here. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, Ryan Ermanni, Time Mazaway, KG, Pete. Good to be back with the game. And James, have a bit of a migraine, and that's because I was at a concert last night where I heard about 20,000 screaming females, including my own Brittany. I went to Justin Timberlake concert. It was an amazing show.
JT, look at JT. Look at those seats.
So these are the seats. So this is right there's my girl's arm reaching right there. He's singing to my girl, realizes I'm there, gives me the high five, and then he goes about his business. So I can give nothing but credit and love and respect to JT. Put on a hell of a show, by the way, and that's my girl in heaven. So great times. It was a lot of fun, man.
Did he do the classics?
That's the flame jump. You know, see JT still 43, still got the knees working. He still got the knees working, but he did his thing, and I'm proud to say that there was no DUI involved with the show.
Oh, man.
I couldn't help myself.
had to do it, Brad.
I couldn't help myself. Hey, JT, don't worry, I've been there before.
Tom Mazaway, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey, what's up, Rye? Hey, Bray, fellas.
What's going on there,
Welcome
Tom
back,
Mazaway?
guys. Happy 4th of July Monday, I guess. It's definitely feels like a Monday today.
Yeah.
Man,
It's like more Monday than usual.
I think you would appreciate this, man. So we're in the hotel, leaving this morning. I'm getting ready to drop them off at the airport. And I'm looking out of my window, which I stay right on Lakeside, so right where you can see Cleveland Brown Stadium. And, Maz, when you look at it, for as much as I talk about Cleveland, dog Cleveland, now, their shoreline, the shoreline is destroying Detroit's shoreline.
It's coming along.
If you catch the right angle, it really kind of feels like you're off of Lakeside in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. Now, the city still is what it is, but
It's coming along. I like going to Cleveland.
I think PTSD for me.
I know.
PTSD. Like, if you erase the PTSD, it has a Detroit type feel to it in terms of what they're trying to do, implement new establishments. So, just got that PTSD.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that Lakeside, and I wanted to let everybody know our team is here, is with us. KG is here. Pete Spivak is here. James is with us as well. That's the idea, I think, too, when we talk about, GM is moving out of the RenCen. What are you going to do with the RenCen?
Got to knock it down.
And if you do knock it down, you will have an entire riverfront, international riverfront, that you could do the most incredible development with.
100%.
That no city in America.
It's the longest riverwalk in the country.
The opportunity to do something great there with that space is, second to none, I would say.
Yeah, but the RenCen is, if you look at it, that's Detroit. I mean, I look at that building. It's a pretty building from the outside. We all know it's not very well developed inside, and nobody's there. But I think you got to leave at least the big tower.
No,
up
yeah,
there
and look, and that's
and
still
do something with it.
Years away, but I mean, you're talking about the JW Marriott coming to the Joe Louis Arena site, which is one of the most premier hotels out there that you could have in your city, at JW Marriott. You've got a 5-star hotel going into the new Hudson's building. 100%. You've got that bright, shiny new Hudson's building, which everybody is going to want to be a part of it. So if you're a company that wants to move downtown, you're going into that building, not the old dilapidated RenCen that has zero occupancy. Nobody is in that building anymore. They even took the food court out of that building. The best part, because nobody's there anymore.
So, man, what about this? Remember when Ryan was talking about the Detroit Lions uniforms and wanting to get new uniforms because of what they representing years and years and years of losing? You look at the RenCen and you look at Detroit and you think about what Detroit is representing in the RenCen, a lot of negativity associated with that. Detroit is trying to have a rebirth. Detroit is trying to move in a different direction, the direction of the draft, the direction of Final Four, the direction of wherever the Lions take us. I think it wouldn't be bad to have a new look downtown, 100%.
Well, we're getting there already.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
It's on its way.
Did you guys tune in to Beverly Hills Cop?
I watched it.
Axel?
I loved it. I thought
I watched
that
the first
movie
hour. I
was
stopped.
perfect.
I love the way it started.
Yeah, I thought the movie was perfect. And I said this earlier this morning on Fox 2. The one big mistake, and I think it was a huge mistake, is that it was released on Netflix only. That should have been in the theaters.
I agree.
And if you look at what nostalgia does at the box office, look at what the going back to Creed. You know what I mean? What nostalgia did. Look at the new Bad Boys 4 film. What that did at the box office. Nostalgia sells.
The music itself.
It was a perfect movie for what it was. Was it a little over the tops of the?
Sure.
Obviously, that's what it is. But everybody was back. And oh, by the way, it's Eddie freaking Murphy. It's not like it's
Kevin Hart.
Right. Something like that. I mean, it's Eddie.
It's the legend.
You talk about like an A-lister of all A-listers. He is in that conversation. And
I liked it.
It was just. I was watching this movie. And I want to watch that on the big screen. That would have driven me out to the movies.
Agreed.
As it relates to that, he has that huge deal with Netflix, and that's why it was solely released there. But I agree with you 100%. Look, nostalgia rules, man. Nostalgia came back in a major way, and you went to the jacket, you listen to the song. The only issue I have with every single movie that's supposed to take place in Detroit, when they do the scenes in Detroit, with the exception of driving underneath Kobo and then coming out where the iconic Renaissance is, outside of that shot, everything is shot in L.A. or shot in the studio. Did you see like when they were in the?
That first scene is all here.
Well, you talking about like when they were at the county office or the police station?
Outside of like Coney and all.
Oh, right. They did a couple of those things, but then once they started actual dialogue, like that was a fake police station. There's no police station downtown.
It was just scenics.
Like Martin wasn't even filmed here. They show you the outside of the river place, but it was somewhere in Chicago. So
it was the
reason I brought it up.
Eddie is Eddie, though.
You guys are talking about Detroit. I thought it showed Detroit as a cool city.
No, it was fantastic. And look, and Detroit is incredible, and I think Detroit is on the right. We're just talking about that riverfront area with the Ren Center.
Why can't you just keep? Why can't you? They've had all this time just to build. The Ren Center only takes up a small portion of it. You got the whole miles and miles of riverfront that you could build on. That's not the only sticking point. To me.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know.
Redevelop the damn thing inside, make it worthwhile for people to move in, and you'll load the place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely.
I got lost in that place. I still get lost in that place.
I do too, and I've been in it a million times. Yeah. I'm not in commercial engineering or anything like that. I don't know what you could do with that building, but I know what you could do with all that land if it wasn't there. You could have like the biggest, most fantastic Navy Pier type.
You still could, even with it there.
Maybe, yeah. Definitely looking into that.
I'm going to Chicago this next weekend. That's a fun place.
Are you going to Chicago?
Yeah.
So Lily, did she leave for the Bears job?
She leaves on Sunday.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
How's that? How do you feel about that?
I feel good for her, and she's nervous a little.
So for those of you that don't know, Maz's daughter has a summer internship with the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Over there in Lake Forest, Illinois.
She does. They're taking good care of her. They're putting her up in the team hotel. She's allowed to bring her car there, park it, at no cost, which is great. We have family, 30 minutes from where the Bears train.
Really?
So, yeah, it's fun. It's a 30-minute train ride. You're right in downtown Chicago, right from Lake Forest.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's one of the richest zip codes in the country.
Absolutely, Lake Forest, Illinois. Absolutely,
100%.
no doubt. Big money there.
She's looking forward to it. 1 month away for the Bears, and they'll have Hard Knocks. I watched Hard Knocks Giants last week. I liked it.
I thought that was fantastic.
You guys
Did you see that?
I have not chance to take it.
Oh my gosh!
I
heard they giving it up.
It was a unique look into an organization, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I wanted more actually.
You'll get more tomorrow.
I wanted more. It just goes back to, do you want things to release weekly, or would you like to just run through everything? On something like that, which grabs me, I was like, I am full bore into Hard Knocks Giants off season.
It's everything you want that we don't see with the Lions or anything else on the regular season one, the training camp one, because now you're seeing they're talking about the draft. 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 They're talking about the dra who they like. They're talking about the trades they could make. They're talking about protecting Daniel Jones.
Right.
And trading Saquon. We have that clip, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, if we got it, we'll
listen,
play
listen
it.
to this.
Not yet.
Okay, good. So whenever we get it, we'll play that.
I heard it was crazy.
Well, I think just the open...
They didn't think Philly was going to take him.
Right. Like the open, honest conversation about trading a franchise player, like talking about, okay, like the one guy pushes back, he says, okay, what's our identity? If we lose this player that accounts for our entire offense, who are we at that point? And the general manager's like, well, we do pay our quarterback $40 million.
Right.
We do pay our quarterback $40 million.
We have to protect him.
Yeah, we have to protect him, and this is a make or break year. Here's that clip from Hard Knocks HBO.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to franchise him. So.
Unless you think you can trade him after doing that.
Right, and then could we get something and trade him? What are we really going to get? Unless it got down to like $7 million. And I don't want to offer that because I don't want to be like we disrespected him. There's 31 teams. It only takes one to... maybe be open to doing something. If it doesn't get to that, hey, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to let you hit free agency, find out your market, come back, and let us know if we can match it. If we can, we'll have those discussions.
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd still like to have him back. Until we can prove that we can have a decent offense without him.
Daniel's making a lot of money, and it's the fork. Like, we got to figure out is he the guy? So we got to protect him. We need to put resources there. Yeah. We have Waller, Belly, a healthy Wandell, Hyatt, Slayton. We'll have to find a running back, but upgrade the offensive line, give them a chance.
That would force us to take a running back in the high to mid.
Or we can still sign one. There's going to be guys, if we're patient, that ended up shaking out. Devin Singletary, who was in Houston, played for $275 this year. Joe Mixon may be a cap casualty, so now you got Saquon, Jacobs, Pollard, Eckler. That's 6 guys right there that are free agents. How many clubs really need running backs where they're going to invest resources in the position? Second week of free agency, I think there'll be some value guys, specifically at the running back position.
Yeah, I wouldn't commit to anything.
I love John Mara's kind of pushback. He's like, hey, you're talking about getting rid of can you imagine being a general manager, going to the owner and saying, we're getting rid of the most popular guy on the team.
Yeah, we're getting rid of Shohei.
We're getting rid of Shohei Ohtani. We're getting rid of all of our production, our most beloved player.
Yeah.
Guy that works his ass off.
Yeah.
And a player that we've seen come back even stronger when we had maybe some questions year 3, year 4. Yeah. Now he's come back stronger and been diligent and been consistent. That's a tough conversation to have.
Joe Shane said, we don't need our $40 million quarterback handing off to a $12 million running back. That's what he said. And if you keep watching that,
he's right.
I know, but he doesn't think Philly's taking. He said, "Who's taking him?"
Right.
He has no idea that Philly is going to stick it right to him, 70 miles down the turnpike, and take him.
Well, that's tonight. That's tomorrow night's episode, right? I mean, we haven't seen that yet, but nonetheless, just seeing those conversations take place. We think we know, Braylon, what goes. We have no idea what goes on in these rooms. It's pretty spectacular, I think.
100%. I can privy to a couple conversations that my agent has told me that happens in terms of situations when I got moved or was getting thought about being moved. I actually almost was a Giant. And, I was privy to the conversation after it didn't go through it, what they were thinking, what players, what wide receivers are they comparing me to, how the move is going to affect. Like, it is some very interesting thing. Maz, 70 miles down the turnpike, your guy, that has been your rivalry your whole life, that NFC East. Like, is it one of those things where it was partly because Saquon was the best available running back, but at the same time, it's because Saquon Barkley was a Giant?
Oh, yeah. And you'll see, video during that. He's talking to Jalen Hurts during the year. He's talking to Nick Sirianni. You see all these little film clips when the Giants played the Eagles. And what are they saying to him? Hey, man, what do they say to him? Hey, you look good in Eagle Green, man. You look good in this Kelly Green.
Right.
Come on down the turnpike. We're ready to win. I mean, they're way ahead of the Giants, for crying out loud. Why the hell wouldn't Saquon want to go down there and stick it to him? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. It's going to be fun to watch the season. Like, that's going to be one of those rivalries that I think is going to be renewed in a major way. Obviously, I think the Eagles are a much better team than the Giants. But don't sleep on the Giants. They made some real good moves on the defensive line. The offensive line is much improved this year. Just for the sake of that rivalry, I think it's going to be 2 great games this year. I can't wait.
When you talk about evaluating a quarterback as well, Daniel Jones,
He didn't draft him.
No, he didn't draft him. But when I think he was sacked more times than any other quarterback in like 8 years or something crazy that. So when you do your evaluation on a quarterback, and look, I'm not some quarterback whisperer or anything like that, but I just don't think that Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. Yeah. I don't think he's a franchise guy that I want to.
I don't think his head coach thinks he's a good quarterback.
I personally do not think Daniel Jones is a franchise guy that I want to be quarterbacking my team for the next 8 to 10 years.
He could be a Joe Flacco.
Could I be wrong about that? Absolutely. I could absolutely be wrong about that. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong.
I say he's like a Joe Flacco type of guy.
But
okay.
What I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that I also don't while I feel like that, I also don't believe it is fair to evaluate a quarterback who's been sacked more times and runs for his life back there than any other quarterback in the league over a 3 or 5 year period. You know, when you talk about that is incredibly difficult to play under those circumstances.
It definitely is. You know, you talk about quarterbacks have been in situations like that. Hell, our own Joey Harrington. You look at what the offensive line was when he was playing quarterback. You look at David Carr. First draft pick of the Houston Texans in 2000. Worst offensive line ever assembled if you look at the sacks. So a lot of times it is difficult. But there are moments when you can see where a quarterback, it's not about the line. It's about this quarterback just doesn't get it. I think nothing more emulates that or represents that than that play in the red zone where Brian Daboll lost his mind on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had the protection. Daniel Jones had 2 wide open routes, and Daniel Jones somehow find a way to throw an interception on that, or not throw an interception. Missed twice. Twice they ran that play and missed, and that's when Brian Daboll lost it. Plays like that lets you know what you said. He's just not the guy.
Right.
100%. I think it's been long enough time. Over a 2-year period, maybe you start to look at offensive line, offensive coordinating. But he's had enough time to show us that he could be something more than maybe Danny Nichols. So, yeah.
They're going to have Devin Singletary as their running back. So he's a good back. I don't know if he's Saquon
Don't
good.
forget about Neighbors.
But he's good.
Definitely not.
Yep, and they just draft Malik Neighbors as their number 1 receiver. So now they got some weapons. Tight end, not so sure about. But if you listen to Joe Shane, the GM, he says behind that O-line that we had, Pat Mahomes, he said, would have had a hard time.
Right.
He said that. Yeah. Pat Mahomes would have had a hard time behind that line.
And speaking of Malik Neighbors, you just do it now instead of later. You see the video of him at the strip club?
No, I just saw that he eats a lot of Uncrustables.
With all like throwing thousands of dollars.
Right.
Thousands of dollars at the women.
He's OBJ too.
It was,
here we go.
It was, on social media.
Right.
While we're talking about the Giants, you mentioned Malik Neighbors. I don't think you can not mention this story. And I think this is it right here. Yeah, just thousands, throwing thousands.
Oh.
And if you are, look, when you give these young people millions and millions of dollars, who's to look at that brick of cash?
That's dollars.
Yeah.
Whatever
That's what
it
the
is.
kids
Right.
is doing.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, look, 100%, like you want guys to save their money, Ryan. You want guys to, I guess, not put themselves in situations and places where they can get in trouble, because this definitely is one of those hot spots. You put them in a situation like that, nothing happens good after 12 o'clock. Lloyd Carter told me that. His dad told him that, and so on and so on. But it's just part of the culture, kind of, sort of. You know, Malik Neighbors is a guy now. He's been active at NIL, so he's made upwards of, $2-3 million in college. Now you give him an NFL deal. If he wants to go to the strip club and throw, $1,000, $2,000, then by all means let him. But if I'm the Giants, having conversations. And see, this is one of the things that I learned when playing. Like, teams, they eye on you. They watch you. They have people follow you. They see what's going on with you. If they're going to, it's a corporation. If I'm going to play X employee this amount of money, I want to know what X employee is doing. Detroit Pistons fans know that all too well with Allen Iverson. So I think you have a conversation. Hey, look, we don't want to get in your personal business, what you do in your off season. It's up to you, but make sure you're making the right decision. I would have those conversations as opposed to keeping that information from them and kind of spying on them. Sometimes it help guys out.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with it too. Like,
just remember, the Giants have never been the same since OBJ's little vacation.
In Miami?
Never.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact.
Ain't had a
I mean,
receiver since then.
that's a fact. Now, what the reason for that was, I mean, could be debated, but the record since then, no, it has not been good. Just getting back to Malik Neighbors, he can do what he wants. Who's to say, like, if you give a 20-year-old Ryan Ermanni $20 million or whatever, I'm not doing the same thing. What I am saying is that if you are the Giants and you invest, or any other team, and you invest millions into a player that you want to be part of your franchise, when there's probably 20 other guys you could have taken at that 6th spot.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be saying to yourself, no. But at the same time, if you do take that guy at 6, you know this, right? Don't you know this? Or is this going to become as some surprise to you?
People have social media nowadays. Like, there's nothing that can surprise owners, GMs, coaches about what these players are coming into the draft and coming into your organization. They know who guys are. So I think it's more so I trust the conversation that I've had with these guys. Like, I trust the fact that what Malik Neighbors tells us is true, not to mention he's a tremendously dynamic athlete. I think the conversation goes a long way, and that's why the Lions have been winning in the draft with their draft picks, because I think they're doing a hell of a job asking the right questions, interviewing the right players, and bringing them into the organization. So it's just something that you've seen on social. You can't hide anything, but you agree with the conversation. You know what? We're going to take a chance on this kid because he's fun, but he's also serious about his business. So,
right.
Yeah.
And we'll see when they go to draft him, right? We'll eventually see in Hard Knocks when they go to draft him eventually.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see their reaction to this.
Yeah. Oh, no.
It's probably overtaken. I would love to know how they handle this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it might be too late for that.
Well, it's one of those things, though, too, because, look, if the young man goes out there and performs, and that's really the key here. If Malik Neighbors goes out there and performs at an elite level, like, Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or any of these other elite high
Garrett Wilson for that matter,
Garrett Wilson, these top 10 wide receivers like they've done in the past 3, 4, 5 years, if he performs like that, you never hear this again. But I will guarantee you, a drop here, a drop there, this video is going to be played 1 million times.
1,000%.
That's what you do to yourself when you put yourself in this situation.
This is true. It just sucks that we live in an era driven by the media, driven by social, so everything is on social. And also, it's just so much more access to the behind the scenes, the peek behind the curtain of what players are doing. Like, this has been going on since Michael Irvin. This has been going on since Don Hudson. We can take it back to Don Hudson. I know that's the name you appreciate, Tom Mazaway. It's been going on, but you haven't seen it. Even in different areas, like not necessarily just players. Look about the things we hear on the sideline, and now you hear people's reaction, like fans' reaction. He shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have did that. Having all that access gives a lot more opinions. But to your point, like social media, man, I'm telling you.
No, I guess you're right about that.
But you're still right, too. We both can be right.
Absolutely. Yeah. But what I'm saying is Michael Irvin wasn't putting his business out there. This guy's putting it out there on his social media.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Michael Irvin's not like...
They were hiding in the White House.
Not getting the camcorder, showing all the escapades at the safe house or whatever.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
You know, but it's a different athlete. It's a different situation. And again, this whole thing is about production on the field. And nobody will care about this video or in the organization or out of the organization if he performs on the field. I just think, it's hard when you're a rookie to adjust to the NFL. And I think when you do put yourself out there like this, you got to do that from day one or you're going to get criticized.
Don't they have guys come in and talk to rookies?
Some organizations do a better job than others. They're like bringing past players in and come in and you talk to guys. And
like Chris Carter.
Keeping a real one. Chris Carter is an excellent example. He tells a story about him at the Philadelphia Eagles and Dick Vermeil having to fire him because he couldn't lay off the sauce. But fired him, and he's been cold turkey ever since. Minnesota Vikings Hall of Fame career. Some organizations do it, some don't, man. I just wish there was a better norm for players. And in particular, I can say it out loud, like the black players. I wish there was a better norm. You see what you see when you're 12 years old, 13, 14, 15 years old. So now you think this is the norm. I got to come into the league. I got to buy the chain. I got to buy the Ferrari. I got to go to the strip club. I got to blow the bag. Like, I just wish there was a different norm that was visible. Because this is the norm, and it happens in every sport. Basketball guy gets drafted. Look what he's wearing at the draft. Look what happens. You see the videos of Malik Neighbors. This seems to just be the norm, and I wish there was a different one. out there. You can have fun, but don't have to jump into this norm. There is no, okay, I have to do this.
Sounds like you should be hired.
This is true. Look, I've been there. Like I've been in situations where, I'm like, dang, I look back like, I wish I would have done this a little differently. I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have waited to do that, or I wish I wouldn't have been so public about this.
Tell that agent of yours, Stan. Tell Stan, your agent, to get you out there. All right,
Stan,
get that gig.
Well, I mean, I think they do try to, have these community events. Like if you've ever seen some of the videos that the NFL has brought Herm Edwards in to do, or Tony Dungy in to do, or Chris Carter in to do.
There's a player symposium.
Yeah, the players. That's what it's called, the player symposium. But again, when you are in a space with 200 other rookies, are you paying attention like in a lecture hall, as opposed to maybe if it's team by team? Maybe a guy coming in to visit with every young player on a team or anything like that. I don't know. I think that it has a much bigger impact if it's in a small group.
Yeah.
Like cluster of 5, 10, 20 than a lecture hall with 200.
Sure.
You know?
You kind of like the same guy kind of do a tour, or same like-minded guys kind of go from team to team. And they do that sometimes in the summer. I know when I was playing ball, they didn't necessarily force guys to do it. So if they say, hey, we have Tony Baselli coming in at 12 o'clock to talk to you guys, if you're not forcing it, it's summertime. I just got drafted this spring. Like, shoot, I'm out the building. I'm trying to get back to the house or the condo or downtown and see what's going on. But I think they're doing a better job now, maybe like forcing it on them, like having those financial literacy conversations and having those, this is what you should look out for in the league and all the dangers and the harms in the city. So I think they're doing a better job.
Who was the guy we had on, played for LSU? We had him on a couple of years ago. And he got in an accident, and he couldn't use the one side of his.
Inky Johnson. Played for Tennessee.
Tennessee. That's a guy that I would hire him in a New York minute to talk to my guys.
He's the best.
That's who I would hire.
I listen to Inky Johnson every morning. Puts out like a minute-long clip on some inspirational thing. 7 a.m. every morning on Twitter. I'm sure it's on Instagram too, but I'm mainly on X. Every morning. It's just a quick mindset shift as you start your day.
Yeah.
It is incredible. I encourage everybody to follow Inky Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And watch those videos first thing when you wake up. If you wake up before 7 o'clock, well, then go back, wait till 7 o'clock, and he posts that every morning. And it is a poignant video about just an outlook on life. It is so great. Inky Johnson, one of the best.
I just reposted one, I want to say last week, Ryan, maybe the week before that, and he was just talking about the lesson.
Yep.
He said everybody's trying to learn that lesson when they're successful. Like when you're successful and you have success, how did I have that success? Let me learn the lesson in that. What's the lesson is? He said, learn the lesson when you fail. So that's when you really get the lesson. He said, learn the lesson when you fail. Learn the lesson when things don't go the way. Learn the lesson when adversity necessarily, you went the opposite way of what you should. Learn the lesson then. You ain't lying around like Inky he's powerful.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, since we're talking football, I'd like to continue on with football. There is some Pistons news I want to get to as well.
Not doing bad.
The brand new Pistons.
I'm about it.
All right now.
I can see a pulse here.
Okay.
But we'll get the Pistons news, top of hour number 2. We'll talk Lions coming up next, including ESPN.com had executives, okay? This isn't just Joe Schmo random
These aren't
vote.
slappies.
This is the executives ranking the top 10 running backs in the league. Where is Jahmyr Gibbs?
Ooh.
Shocking to me. I'll tell you what's shocking about it, and not in a good way. But first, a message from the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan.
All right. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit, the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports Leagues. Remember, I told you I was a member of the Boys and Girls Club back in the day, Michigan and Illinois to be exact. Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. This is a place to be. It is the #1 football and cheerleading league in the city right now. 3C Sports doing a heck of a job. And also, Planet Fitness, 50+ metropolitan locations. Look, it's the best way to stay in shape because your fitness is essential. And Planet Fitness, they understand that. That's why they make it easy for you to get in shape and they fit your budget. Planet Fitness features the squeaky clean gym and a 30-minute total body workout. 50 locations around metropolitan Detroit. Planet Fitness, for your fitness is essential.
Thank Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help you. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today, 248-290-8242. Or you can check them out online at markwhitesells.com. Again, Mark White, call him today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
And let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome. NFL just weeks away from training camp, and your Detroit Lions a month from today, August 8th. Today's July 8th.
Yep.
Yeah, August 8th, play the Giants.
Yep.
How about that? Can you believe
right
it?
around the corner.
Where's that game going to be?
It's in New York, I believe. I think the Lions.
I'll be there.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I don't know if I'll go to the game, but I'll be there.
Fantastic. So yeah, football season right around the corner. Lots of content NFL related coming out from some of the networks. And I saw this from ESPN.com, and it had the rankings of NFL running backs, and it was as ranked by executives, coaches, and scouts. Okay, so this isn't fans or votes or anything like that. Pretty legitimate, I would say.
These are the GMs, the coaches, and the scouts.
Top 10 running backs. Okay? How about a little music, KG?
I got you.
Get you geared up for it. I am shocked by where Jahmyr Gibbs is on this list. We're going to start with number 1. You guys tell me, as we're going through, if you agree or not. Okay, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Best running back out there?
Agreed.
Yeah, after last season, 100%.
How about number 2 on this list? The second best running back. You can drop me, Pete. Nobody needs to see me. The second best running back in the NFL, Breece Hall of the Jets.
Braylon and I talked about him last week, right? Yeah. This kid, through injuries, is still one of the best backs in the game. So I would not have an issue with him in the top 5. I don't know if I'd put him at number 2.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
I think I'd have him in the top 5.
Legit dual threat, a glider with high-level change of direction and vision, NFL personnel evaluator. Home run hitter with the ball in his hands, can grind volume, create explosives at any moment.
Yeah, I think, if you don't like him being that high based off him having the injury and just not having success, the Jets haven't been successful, although he's been successful in his 2-year career. Then I understand that. But if you want to look at potential and you want to look at the season that he had before he got injured and then look at the season that he had last year, coming back with 1,000 yards, this kid's dynamic. And what he's doing, that offensive line wasn't together last year. That's why they had so much struggle at quarterback. With no offensive line and no second receiver. All they really had was Garrett Wilson, no tight end play. So to have a season like that with no offensive weapons, I can understand why they have a lot of stake in Breece Hall. Jahmyr Gibbs had an amazing rookie campaign, tremendous season, catching the ball out of the backfield and running the ball. But when you look at what Jahmyr Gibbs is around and Ben Johnson at the helm of offense, they were a tough offensive team. Number 2, if I'm correct, in the NFL by all parts, Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So a lot more for Jahmyr Gibbs to have more success. Breece Hall, it was him and Garrett Wilson.
Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, 3-4 on this list. Nick Chubb was number 1 in last year's ranking. At 28 years old, he now comes in at number 3 on this list. And we were talking about Saquon Barkley earlier, moves from the Giants to the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year's ranking number 4, this year's ranking number 4. What do you guys think about that?
I'd rather have Jahmyr Gibbs than Saquon Barkley. That's me.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him up close and personal. But guys around the NFL might not have had their eyes on Jahmyr Gibbs as much as we have.
Yeah.
They will, though.
This is true.
I can promise you that.
With Nick Chubb, he's a walking 1,300 yards. Like, the key is him staying healthy. Now, that would be a concern for me ranking him this high because tearing your ACL and, year 6, and which you had injuries and knee injuries in college as well. So that would be skeptical for me. But he's walking 1,300. You give Nick Chubb the ball, and he's going to find 92 yards a game in the NFL. So I don't have a problem with that. Saquon, he shows you that he's diligent. I think he came back last year. I don't have a problem with him being 4. I think he's at where he should be at.
All right, next page of this. Again, this is the top 10 running backs as put together by NFL execs, coaches, and scouts. At number 6, they're out there, so let me just list them, and then we'll talk about them. Jonathan Taylor, number 5 from the Colts. Bijan Robinson, number 6 on this list of the Atlanta Falcons. Then Josh Jacobs of the Packers, formerly the Raiders. Jahmyr Gibbs comes in at number 8 on this list. And I think what's shocking to me above all else, take out the Jonathan Taylors and the Bijan Robinsons and the Josh Jacobs and Christian McCaffreys. I'm shocked that Bijan Robinson is ranked higher from NFL execs, coaches, and scouts than Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan 6, Jahmyr Gibbs 8.
Once again, and this is no Jahmyr Gibbs hate. I have to preface it like that before the Detroit Lions fan base jumps on me. This is no hate. I love Jahmyr Gibbs' game. In fact, I still have one of his football cards from Georgia Tech. So hear me out when I say this. If you look at that list, every back on there so far is their number 1 running back on the team. And what I mean by that, there's not really 2 running backs. It's not a double-headed monster, if you will, on these teams. Josh Jacobs is the guy. Bijan Robinson is although they do have
Tyler Algier.
Yeah, Algiers isn't bad, but Bijan is expected to be the guy. Jonathan Taylor is the number 1 guy. Christian McCaffrey, they're number 1 guys. So I think in this, just particularly, it could be me, they're not punishing him, but they're waiting to see what Jahmyr Gibbs does this year. I guess I guarantee you whoever put this list out wants Jahmyr Gibbs to rank him at 3rd. But until he does it, becomes the number 1, does it the season, they're not going to move him up. Just my thought.
Maz, let me just read for you what they say about Bijan Robinson here. Robinson didn't quite validate the hype as a rookie. His 976 rushing yards in 2023 tied for 15th. And he fell short of the projections for the number 8 pick in a run-heavy offense. To be sure, Robinson's usage, despite his obvious ability to shake defenders, was curious at times. Robinson got more than 15 carries in 4 of 17 games. The production is not all him. He's a top 5 talent at the position right now. That's why in year 2, the expectations are massive. Robinson led the league with 5.2 yards per carry against boxes of 7 or more defenders. 35 explosive plays, ranks third for running backs. If he gets to the second or third level, he's incredibly hard to tackle. Deceptive speed once he gets loose. LaShawn McCoy is the comp. Hard to touch him.
He's going to be one of the best coming up here. There's no doubt. We wanted to draft him. We wanted him.
Ryan
as college fans, as NFL fans, we wanted Bijan Robinson. And when they passed up on him, we all were like, damn, no Bijan Robinson with Jahmyr Gibbs? What? And then we got to watch Jahmyr Gibbs. But like what Braylon said, with this Lions offense, it makes Jahmyr Gibbs' job a little easier.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the hell this offense is going to do. Bijan, they're just going to feed him. And all these running backs, they're all getting fed. Jahmyr has everything around him to make him one of the best. Yet still looking at him and watching football as long as I have, he has it. Jahmyr Gibbs has it.
That's the point, Maz. I mean, I think if you just watch and see the abilities that he has, when he touches the football, it's incredible. Here's what they say about Jahmyr Gibbs now. While Bijan Robinson was the top back in 2023, some scouts preferred Gibbs' skill set and versatility. That's why the Lions selected him at 12, 4 picks behind Robinson, which didn't shock some. Change of pace, fast, elusive, versatile, an AFC executive said. Dynamic in the pass game, not a typical north-south runner you love in a run-heavy offense, but he can break explosive plays at the snap of a finger, which is very scary in our league. Despite the presence of power back David Montgomery, the Lions made sure Gibbs was heavily involved his rookie season. 234 touches over 15 games, 1,200 total yards, 11 touchdowns, 5.4 yards per carry out of the shotgun formation, the best among running backs. He also led the league with 6.3 yards rushing to the right side. Derrick Henry and Travis Etienne round out the top 10. Derrick Henry getting a little long in the tooth there, but nonetheless should have a good year for Baltimore. I think if I'm a general manager outside of Christian McCaffrey, I am selecting Jahmyr Gibbs number 2 above any other running back in the National Football League. You can have, let's just stick with the Lions.
Yeah.
If you could have any running back in the NFL today outside of Christian McCaffrey, I'm selecting Jahmyr Gibbs.
I've always been there with you. I love the guy. And
he is perfect for this offense.
He'd be my number one guy. He would be.
It's a beautiful situation. I keep saying I love Jahmyr Gibbs. It's a beautiful situation. But what do you always talk about? You talk about the fit. You guys are looking from the sense of the fit. Now, you watched last year that fit Jahmyr Gibbs had paused with the Detroit Lions. It worked to the tune of all the stats that you just
1,200 yards plus.
You just riddled off. But if you take Jahmyr Gibbs as he was last year, take him as he is this year, and you just throw him in the Buffalo Bills, how does Jahmyr Gibbs look with the Buffalo Bills?
He might look great.
I'm just asking, is it the same system? Is it the same things? Because remember when Tony Pollard was running behind Zeke, and he was the guy doing the secondary back stuff. He was a dynamic running back, catching the passes out of the backfield, doing the screens, doing the, getting outside the lines. He looked amazing. They get rid of Zeke and they make Tony Pollard the number one guy. All of a sudden, he doesn't look the same. And I think that's more so what you're waiting to see from Gibbs. Remember, even Christian McCaffrey. After Christian McCaffrey's first year, his second, third, it's like, is this guy a between the tackles guy? Is he every down running back guy? Is he like Reggie Bush, where Reggie Bush really is better as a secondary running back? We'll figure it out. It took Christian McCaffrey a long time to get back to that. We're finding there are no questions. Christian McCaffrey is the back. Christian McCaffrey can run up the middle through the tackles and out to the side. I think with Jahmyr Gibbs, you're just still waiting to see, is he a one back or is he Tony Pollard with the Dallas Cowboys when they still had Zeke?
But don't you feel like, Bray, when you look at the Lions specifically, and you could have any running back on that list, doesn't Jahmyr Gibbs fit the Lions better
100%
than any other player on that list? And including a Bijan Robinson. And if the Lions had to do it all over again, and how many times do we say this? If you could redraft the draft, the idea that you would still take the same player is pretty darn good, because I would think Brad Holmes would do this 10 times out of 10. I know I would. I would pick Jahmyr Gibbs over Bijan Robinson 10 times out of 10, specifically for this Detroit Lions offense.
I just want to remind everyone, all those numbers that Ryan gave you, they're not in 17 games. They were like in 12 games because they didn't even use them the first 4 or 5 games. Right?
Yeah,
think about what he did.
We're trying to figure
think about what he did.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. He got better as the year went on. One mistake, NFC Championship, ran the wrong hole, and that was the end of it.
Starting on one side of the ball, too, so that play kind of was doomed for a jump. But, yeah, you're right. Jahmyr Gibbs showed it, especially he ran between the tackles at the end of the season. He ran between the tackles in the playoffs. He's a dominant force, and you saw the last kind of 4 or 5 games of the season, he was the number one back for the Detroit Lions. David Montgomery started taking secondary carries and secondary touches. So we'll just see how it plays out this year. I'm interested to see, will they put him in as the number one back? Is he going between the tackles? Is he also going outside? How many touches is Jahmyr Gibbs going to get per game? That'll determine if he can move up this list and go to number one or stay floating around, kind of like an Alvin Kamara range. Alvin Kamara is the guy who's made how many Pro Bowls? 4 or 5. How many times did Alvin Kamara rush for 1,000?
He didn't.
0 times. He's a special elite type of back, but he's a different type guy. Alvin Kamara in his younger years. He's not even on that list. Can you imagine Alvin Kamara in this system, in his younger years, in his prime?
Oh, he'd have been nasty.
Once again, Alvin Kamara, kind of a system type player.
Well, and he is, Kamara was really, I don't know if this is right or not, but Alvin Kamara is really the first running back that I could think of. Maybe get in the chat and let me know if I'm out of bounds here by saying this. Alvin Kamara is really the first guy that I could think of that really kind of turned the running back position into that slash.
Yeah.
Cordell Stewart was a wide receiver that played running back. I'm just talking about a running back that really was such a dual threat.
Yeah.
That could burn you out of the backfield so many different ways. Yeah. He really is the first one that I can think of in the league that changed that position.
Not trying to one-up you, but you named the team, and it got me thinking. It's Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush.
Mm-hmm.
That's
same
a
team.
Good one too.
Yeah.
That's
something
true.
about the Saints. They always find these guys, right?
But even Reggie Bush in the NFL, like Reggie Bush in college,
elite
was that guy. I mean, Reggie Bush in the NFL was good.
True.
He was a good player.
1,000-yard rusher.
Alvin Kamara was, MVP type stuff.
He had a good
electric.
Run. He had a good 3-year run.
Yeah,
electric.
Reasons, yeah.
So that's why I think Gibbs is just that guy. Now I don't know what will happen this year with David Montgomery or how they're going to incorporate all of these. This is so great to talk about, but the Lions have so many weapons.
Yeah,
there is one football. There is so many guys that could do damage with that ball. Montgomery, Gibbs, St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta. 5 guys right there.
Raymond.
Khalif Raymond could do damage with. There's just so much talent offensively. You don't know who's going to beat you. It's really hard to double anybody.
Listen to these honorable mentions, Brian.
Okay.
Aaron Jones, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker,
who's
Seattle.
going to have a fantastic.
Have you seen what he looks like?
I
lately?
did. He is going to be a stud this year, but he doesn't have a quarterback. Who's the quarterback in Seattle?
Oh yeah.
Again, if you could stack the box and stop the running back with no threat of a pass game.
So let me ask this question though. You said who's the quarterback now? We know Geno. We knew even when Geno had the year, comeback player of the year, and got paid and blah blah blah. We knew he wasn't going to be a long-term guy. But when you surround him with the talent that he has, you got Kenneth Walker in the backfield. You got Jackson Smith and Jibba. You still have Tyler Lockett, who's
DK.
got 2. He just signed a new 2-year, and you got DK Metcalf, who is still a dominant wide receiver in this league. Shoot, even an average quarterback can get lucky.
Really good offense.
Heck yeah,
you're right.
Isaiah Pacheco's in this. Had a great year last year.
Yeah,
7th round pick.
Boy, he runs hard too. I love the way he runs violently.
He runs like Earl Campbell. I know it sounds crazy because he's much smaller than Earl Campbell.
I love the way he runs.
Like menacing.
He's aggressive.
Almost.
James Cook. And here's your guy, Alvin Kamara. He makes it in. He's got a paragraph long worth of stuff to read for him. He's been terrific. Joe Mixon now with the Texans. Swift is with the Bears. And then they go on from there. Kieran Williams for the Rams.
Couple of people in the chat are mentioning Marshall Faulk.
Yeah,
is a guy. That's a good. But he was.
That's true. But Marshall Faulk was running between the tackles too for 2,000 yards in San Diego State.
Majority.
That's a great call. If you want to say a dual threat running back, maybe the second one.
I don't really consider Darren Sproles of the Eagles.
Sproles was good.
He's a specialist.
He was dual threat a little bit, not as much as Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk player though.
Marshall.
Yeah,
So,
like Marshall Faulk's like. In fact, he did win MVP.
Yeah.
So he's an MVP guy. It was a good call, but nah.
Yeah.
I see exactly. Kind of like an X Factor, where like you're going into this game, and he's like, an X Factor guy, and you put him solely at one position. It's like he's not just going to do a bunch of things. He's playing running back, but doing those things as well.
You can't name Amon-Ra St. Brown. Who is, if you had to pick right now, breakout season for the Detroit Lions to where turning the heads of the entire NFL? Wouldn't it be Gibbs?
Yes.
Over Laporta, over
they already turned heads. They already turned heads.
Yeah, yes.
I'm talking about Gibbs and Laporta. Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But I'm just saying when you have all of the offensive talent that the Detroit Lions have, like, who is that number two? We talk about that number two. Is it Laporta? I mean, are they such a pass-heavy offense now that you consider Laporta is that guy? Because I believe that Jahmyr Gibbs has completely overtaken David Montgomery as the lead back on this team.
Yeah,
now, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am.
We need them both,
though. Absolutely. Yep. You need two.
Need them both.
But I guess it's situationally dependent on what you may need at the time, but
don't forget Sione Votke.
I think Gibbs is going to have a huge year this year, and I think that's so hard to say. When you say huge year, there's only one football to go around. It's so much talent. So maybe nobody has a huge year. It's just a collective offense.
That's what it appears that way.
It's funny because as much as I'm talking about Jahmyr Gibbs fitting the system and being a cog in this wheel, you say who's number two. I'm not so sure that number two is not Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, hear me out when I say this, especially going into the season. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 1,400 plus yards. Mm-hmm. How many touchdowns does he have? 8, 9 touchdowns. Amon-Ra is a guy that he's going to get you third down conversion. He has short hands. He blocks. He does all the things. He's a great player for you. But they're going to run the offense more through Jahmyr Gibbs this year. If you look at the things that he does, he creates mismatches on defense when you put him certain spots in the backfield, you split him in the slot, you put him out wide. I think he becomes the guy that if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm keying in on how are they going to use Jahmyr Gibbs? What is going to be his role in this game? I'm spending probably much more film as a defensive coordinator watching Jahmyr Gibbs than I am going to spend on Amon-Ra St. Brown.
10 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, and Jahmyr's 11 in 14 games, as you tell me. I think Jahmyr Gibbs will be the focal point of the offense, and I think moving forward, defensive coordinators, they're going to key in on Jahmyr Gibbs, 100%.
Pretty incredible, man. 27 rushing touchdowns by the Lions last year. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs combined for 23 rushing touchdowns. I mean, that is a lot of scoring, man. When you talk about receiving touchdowns, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10 touchdowns apiece. Those two guys, 20 touchdowns.
Remember when Monty went 80 yards against the Bucs? That was a beautiful
And
run.
I think, don't discount this. Josh Reynolds, third in receiving touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns got to be made up somewhere else. Is that J-Mo? Is that Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Yeah.
Does that go to Gibbs?
Brock Wright?
Could be.
I think you have I think you have a situation where it can go to a multitude of players that you have. I think you can actually even get more than those 5 touchdowns. You look at the season J-Mo is going to have. We intend him to have somewhere between 6 to 8 touchdowns. I think he might have more than that, but 6 to 8. Then you look at Jahmyr Gibbs. His numbers are going to go up. He had 11 touchdowns last year. I see him as an Austin Eckler.
I love it.
I had to bring that back.
I love it.
I see him as an Austin Eckler type running back. Like Austin Eckler, he's going to have 18 touchdowns if you play him in the right spot. So I think you'll get more touchdowns out of Gibbs, more touchdowns out of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just think they'll be fine. And then you sneak in a Brock Wright. Then you sneak in a DPJ.
Just looking at some of these numbers, let me ask you guys this question. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 10 touchdowns last year receiving.
Yeah.
In 2024, more or less than 10 touchdowns this season, Braylon?
More.
KG, you got more?
Yeah, I got more.
Because you can't do the same. I really want to say the same. I'll do less.
I was going to say less touchdowns than 10 as well.
I think you have more options. I think they're not going to be dependent on him as much. He'll still be open, but I think there's more trust now with Jared Goff and the other players on his team. He has trust in Sam Laporta. He has trust in Jahmyr Gibbs. It seems as though what we've seen so far, he has trust in Jameson Williams. He already has trust in Amon-Ra and St. Brown. Once you have trust like that in the skill set, you're not looking at a certain guy. I mean, you're looking at your number one option, but you got guys you can trust. It's easy to get the ball to other places. So that is why he may not have as many.
Maz, more or less for Amon-Ra than 10 touchdowns this year?
More.
Okay.
More. Even though all those targets are everywhere.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta, 10 touchdowns last year. More or less than 10 touchdowns for Sam Laporta?
I would say less here. Maybe about like 1 or 2.
When teams have film on you, it's a lot tougher. They're going to have a lot of film on Sam Laporta. I mean, he had the number one season last year of any tight end in the league. Not rookie, period, just as tight end. So more film on him. I think they'll do some things to scheme on him.
He'll have a yardage. I don't know about the touchdowns.
Agreed. I say same or less.
I say less as well. Maz, more or less than 10 touchdowns?
Less, because Brock Wright's there now.
Okay, less. David Montgomery, 13 rushing touchdowns last year for the Lions. Ooh. More or less than 13 rushing touchdowns this year?
11.
Less, but not by many. He's still, like you heard when you read that description, power running back. He's the power guy. He's the guy once they get inside the 4, he's getting the ball. So I still think he's somewhere in there, but maybe 10 to 11.
I'd say less.
Me too. Me too.
Gibbs, 10 touchdowns last year. More or less than 10 touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs?
I'd say plus 8.
Plus 8?
I say plus 8. I'm telling you, the way in which Ben Johnson is going to key in, like Maz hit the nail on the head. They didn't even really learn how to use him. Yeah. Like, it's not about when he started. They started week 4, week 5. Mm-hmm. They didn't learn how to use him until week 15, 16, 17 into the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they know how to use him, and you still have Laporta. Now you have Jameson that people are excited about. They say he's the most improved player. They say he's the most dialed-in player. So I think it only opens up what you can do with Jahmyr Gibbs.
He's going to put running backs back on the top. He's gonna reinvent the running back position, because they didn't draft him. They didn't draft him just to be the running back. They drafted him to be Marshall Faulk. They did.
And also, the Lions do what? The Lions are now like Jerry Jones in the sense of they pay their players. They pay their players. They have belief in players. They bring them in, they interview them, and they do their job. They pay him. They brought him in to give him another contract, which means, man, you're right. They brought him in to change how we feel about the running back. He might have a 12-year career here. It may be a 10-year career here, but it definitely will be more than the 4 that most of these teams are passing out.
All right, last one. Jameson Williams, 3 total touchdowns last year, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. More or less?
More by a lot.
All of us are like
much
more, right?
more
All of us
by
are
a
like
lot.
more. So you've got
better be.
I think collectively, and Maz, you're
how many touchdowns did the Lions score last year total?
They scored.
They also can't score 60 touchdowns.
They scored.
I don't know.
30 and 57.
About 18
touchdowns.
for Gibbs.
Yeah, I'm close.
Yeah.
57 offensive touchdowns. 57 offensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'd say more.
We're top 5 offense. So yeah.
But again, I mean, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Montgomery, pretty much we believe less touchdowns than they scored a year ago, and then Gibbs and J-Mo more touchdowns than they scored a year ago. As this thing kind of just continues to grow, do you expect your young players, Gibbs, J-Mo, even though I know Laporta's a young player as well, but he had such a dynamic year last year, I can't imagine having a repeat like that, because he might not have to have a repeat like that. Last year it was necessary.
You don't have to.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, hour number 2 of the program, we'll talk a little Detroit Pistons. Are they giving you a little bit of a pulse with what they're doing in the offseason? I don't know how this thing is going to work out, but Trajan Langdon is at least building what I think is a competitive roster on the team. We'll get to that next, but first a message from Dr. Pierce.
All right, attention sports fans, don't miss out on our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. He joins every Tuesday. He'll be on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays at Well. Don't forget, you got to trust the guy that D-Mac and Braylon both trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Go ahead, Maz. Premier.
Oh, and Premier Pet. He loves taking his pets to Premier Pet Supply as well. Who wouldn't, right? Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. And, of course, they have over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. They have it all there. They're never understocked at Premier Pet Supply. They got curbside delivery if you need it as well. Nutritionists on call at any time. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness. Big fitness.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out PremierPetSupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around.
To any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Check this out. Went on a drive yesterday. Took a trip, but before me and my family went out of town, you know what we did? We stopped at Soroki's, got a couple pieces of that chicken, and oh my God, the biscuits were great as well. I promise you, I can tell you the exact location we stopped at. As a matter of fact, it was off 275 and Ford Road. The Nashville Hot is also back. Limited time. Soroki's popping up all over Michigan. The chicken tenders, the fries, the chicken sandwich as well. But you got to remember, it is spicy. It is very spicy, so use at your own caution. Nashville Hot, limited time only. Soroki's, chicken, pizza, and wings.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Looking for a new vehicle? They've got you. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? They've got you. Inventory galore at Les Stanford. All 4 GM brands under that Les Stanford umbrella. Buick GMC store in Ferndale, right down the road from us on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want. Easy to navigate right there. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Having a lot of fun here, talking a little NFL last hour. We'll talk more NFL this hour. We'll get into the Tigers as well. Maz is going to see the Indians tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The Guardians. The Guardians.
The IANS. The IANS.
The Guardians.
Yeah, the Guardians.
I'll never, it's so hard. I don't know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
We're going to see Cleveland.
Going to see Cleveland, the Cleveland Baseball Club tonight. More on that in a little bit.
Cleveland still has a very good, I know you'd appreciate this, man, Ryan. They still have a great area like downtown Progressive Field where they do a game. Yesterday we went in town, but
love Progressive Field.
We had to pass by. We had to pass through. They were just having a let out. I don't know who they played yesterday, but it was a let out. And, man, it was just a bunch of spots. They have an area
They had a walk-off
downtown.
yesterday. Walk-off winner.
And so that's why everybody was having a great time. They have an area.
Indians. Excuse me, the Guardians.
No, they did. And I think, matter of fact, a couple fans ran up and were talking about that. They have an area that's like, the alley area in downtown Detroit. What do you call it? The Skip. They have an area like the Skip that's mixed in with District 81. It's this long road, a bunch of shops, like a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of bars, like side by side. Like, I may not like Ohio and Cleveland, but I'm telling you like this. There's some things they do well, some things you can take note of, man. Great area right there.
Tigers have 42 wins. They're having a 3-game win streak. Cleveland has 56 wins. 56 freaking wins from a team that they didn't think would be in third place in the AL Central. And they're one of the best teams in baseball. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty crazy stuff. Guys, I do want to talk about the Pistons if we could, because they actually signed a player that was out there on the market for a cheap price that they desperately needed. Malik Beasley signs with the Detroit Pistons a 1-year, $6 million deal. Probably the best shooter remaining out on the market. Pistons sign him, and this is a guy that's going to help. Shoots the 3-ball very well. What is the thing that the Pistons needed the most?
Shooters.
Yes, guys who could shoot the 3. And
he can teach the young guys how to shoot.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's just a pro. He's a pro. Yeah. He comes from a winning organization with the Milwaukee Bucks. There was nothing not to like about this signing. And I do believe Trajan Langdon, and again, whether this stuff works on the court or not, we don't know. But I do believe the first impression is a good one from Trajan Langdon and the Pistons.
Yeah, 100%. We talked about this last week. I actually want to start at the top, just in a quick mention. For as much as I've talked about Tom Gorse, who deserved everything that we said for this whole last 3-4 years that we've been running the show, deserved every comment. But you got to give credit where credit is due sometimes. It seemed like he got it right by hiring Trajan Langdon. You're talking about a guy that ate a $65 million contract, still owed to Monty Williams. For people to say, hey, look, so what? He shouldn't have hired Monty? You're absolutely right. But guess what? He turns around, fires Monty Williams as well, and you put a guy in place. Ryan, I think all you're looking for the Pistons, you're looking for stability, and you're looking for some professionalism. What better way to do that? Get some shooters in. You bring in a shooting coach as the first move that Trajan Langdon made. Then you bring in a coach, and J.B. Bickerstaff. He's had success when turning things around. He got to the Cavs. They were a 20-win team 3 years in a row. He went over 500 with 44 3 times, I do believe. That means there's stability. There's no more babysitting around here. So I like it. Tobias Harris, this guy, look, is he at the prime that he was in when he was an all-star or the Clippers? No. But is he a guy that can get hot? Yes. Is he a guy that still plays somewhat same both ends of the court? Yes. Is he a guy that can shoot? Yes. Malik Beasley can shoot as well. Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, maybe he stays, maybe he doesn't. Maybe they do something with the contract. But if he stays, you're talking about a guy, professional, a guy that can shoot, a guy that knows how to fit into his role with a team. I think stability is what I'm seeing from Trajan Langdon, and it looks like there's some professionalism. And, Maz, what's the word you keep using? Plan. Yep. There is a plan in place. So I agree, Ryan. The first marks for Trajan Langdon, passing with flying colors.
Hey, this is the best Pistons team in 3 years.
Yeah.
They ain't even set foot on the court yet.
Maybe even over 5 years.
Yes, maybe 5 years.
Ain't that the truth?
If you believe in the core 5 that they had, the young guys, and you add these pros around them, hell yeah. That's the best team they've had, on paper at least, in 5 years.
What you're doing is you're allowing guys the latitude to succeed as well. Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart even.
Yeah.
You're allowing these players to play complementary roles that they should be playing, not forced to be stars. signing a guy like Malik Beasley, signing a guy like Tobias Harris even, and I know we've already done that once before.
Hardaway.
Signing Tim Hardaway, I think, is a really, really positive sign for the Detroit signing by the Detroit Pistons. You're surrounding these younger players with pros, and pros that know how to go about their business, pros that know how to practice, how to do the shoot around, how to approach in game, how to approach it when they're down 12 in the fourth, how to approach it when you're up 5 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth. Every situation is a learning experience for these younger players. And I think when younger players have to learn from just the coach, I think that's doom and gloom. But when you can learn from guys next to you on the bench or players on the floor, I think that's fantastic. I think what they're doing is really good.
I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
My
you're
apologies. When you're in professional sports, man, you always got to have a coach, and you got to have a couple veteran players that are like the next to go between. It's like you said, you always got to have that go between the coach and the players. You got to have somebody where sometimes you guys are slacking off, you guys are messing up, you guys are not taking things a certain way serious. You got to have guys, veteran leaders on the team that can tell you what you're doing wrong and get in your what, as they say back in the day, like get in your face, get in your grill and tell you, you're slacking, you're messing up. Coach is right about this. Also, there are those times where coach is on you, you're in a slump, you're in a stretch. You got to have those players come to you and pick you up, tell you what you need to do. Hey, look, man, it's going to be all right. Look, everybody has slumps. Everybody has stretches. This is how we need to work to get through things. So they got professionals around them. And I think what I like that this allows other guys to see what they really are. We don't know what Jaden Ivey is. Like, because of how the season was last year and how he was used by Monty, I don't know what Jaden Ivey is. Cade Cunningham has been here. He's young. He's been the leader since day one at 19 years old. Now he can breathe a little bit. There's some professionalism around. We can see what he can truly be as the star player, the number one player on this team. So I like that as well, that you get the chance to see who these people are. You want to bring in stars? First of all, let's see who you have, and we can kind of move through that.
The Bulls are having a fire sale. They want people to take Zach LaVine off their hands in the worst way. Lonzo Ball is out there as well. Life with Chris. Life with Chris on the chat. $4.99 to tell this. For 2 first-round picks, would you take the Zach LaVine contract?
Absolutely.
I would.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
I would in a minute. I would put Zach LaVine on this team in a minute.
Is he healthy?
Give me 50 games, I'm happy with that.
The player really doesn't matter. It's really about the assets because that's how Trajan wants to build it anyway.
Yeah, true. I mean,
and he's a pretty good player.
Yeah. He will help in the short term.
First-round picks don't mean anything. Like we know that to be for the most part.
They're meaningless.
Let me correct that. First-round picks for the Detroit Pistons don't mean anything. So if you're talking 2 picks for the Pistons for LaVine, why not? Why not get him in here? He's going to be the best player on the team, and he'll balance it a little bit. And maybe you'll see a semblance of a basketball team, and you can move from there.
Maybe you'll win 35 games.
I would.
I do like the staff, too. I mean, Sidney Lowe coming on with JB Bickerstaff. I just think that you've got, no offense to Monty Williams. I know Monty's a really good coach. He just didn't want to be here. I think you've really got a group of guys you hope that are in this for the right reasons, and they're all pros. You talk about JB Bickerstaff. He's a no nonsense guy. He's in charge. There's no question about it. Sidney Lowe, first assistant. He's a guy with so much experience, just a pro. Somebody that you can look up to. Some of these younger guys can look up to, and somewhat you want your players to be somewhat afraid of you a little bit too, don't you? Don't you want to be afraid of your boss a little bit?
Yeah.
Don't you? I mean, I don't know. I think it's always good to have a little fear about who your boss is.
Fear makes you do the right things. Fear makes you stay on a certain path, if you will. Fear,
a little bit more crisp.
100%, because you're thinking. If you have to think about things or think things through, you tend to make better decisions, correct, Ryan Ermanni? I think
Same with Trajan, by the way.
True.
Trajan Langdon looks like he comes in like, I'm a boss.
And if I'm
know what I mean?
And if I'm a player, I realize that I can't do what Killian Hayes did, which is basically be on the team for 5 years and have nothing to show for it, and not be a guy and can sit back every offseason and be comfortable, because I know that I'm going to make this squad. Meanwhile, I'm not necessarily good, to be honest. So you got to be on your game. It means all offseason, you got to be working. During the season, you got to be working. I think you'll see a lot more people getting more shots up at the Detroit Pistons Performance Center this season, I'll tell you that.
Look, the challenge is immense for the Detroit Pistons. Let's not sugarcoat it. Boston, New York, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Orlando,
Gauntlet.
Indiana,
Ouch.
Philadelphia, Atlanta, not to mention the Miami Heat. I mean, these are teams in the Eastern Conference. I'm not even talking about teams in the entirety of the NBA. I'm talking about teams that you've got to get through in the Eastern Conference. And this is going to be probably a long road ahead, but at least you're putting guys that you believe in, like Cade Cunningham, like Jalen Duren, like Jaden Ivey. You're putting these guys in a much better spot to succeed when you surround them with other NBA talent.
Yes.
And are the Pistons going to go win 40, 45 games next year? No. Are they going to win 30, 35 games? No. Could they win 25 to 30?
Think so.
Maybe. And when you say that, they haven't done that in 3-4 years.
I think they could win more than that.
Well, I just listed for you 8 teams in the Eastern Conference alone that are better than them.
I get it.
Alone that are better than them.
Things could change, too.
Not to mention OKC, Denver, Minnesota, the Clippers, Dallas, Phoenix, the Lakers, Pelicans, Kings, Warriors, Rockets, and Spurs. I mean, the Pistons are still...
I know.
If you look at their roster, okay, if you look at the roster of the Detroit Pistons, for as good as we... And again, this is all baby steps.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to come in here and say Pistons suck. They're not going to be any good ever. I'm trying to at least, because I do believe they've improved.
Yeah.
I do like the direction that they're heading. But they still, if you count, how many teams are there in the NBA? 30 teams?
Yeah.
I would say Detroit has a comparable roster to Washington, Portland, Charlotte, Toronto, and Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was going to say the Nets.
I like Scoot Henderson. I like Scoot Henderson.
So we're in the bottom 6.
So I'm telling you, there are 25 out of 30 teams in the NBA have a better roster than the Detroit Pistons. Probably right now.
Yeah.
Maybe 24 teams. And that's not to say that, it's all doom. I think it's trending up.
And 16 of those make the playoffs.
Right. So what I'm saying is, do I anticipate with these signings the Pistons are going to win 35 games? No.
Yeah.
Because I still think despite all of this, their roster is bottom 5, bottom 6 in the NBA.
The Kings got DeRozan over the weekend. I thought that was a pretty good deal for them.
And it's much like when the Pistons started, it's much like when the Red Wings started their journey. I think that's what we're looking at now. You look at 6 or 5 years ago, Steve Yzerman came in here. The big thing, he had to clean up what the Detroit Red Wings had become. At the end of the day, you saw professionalism. You knew he had a track record. You knew what it was going to be, and he had a plan when he came in. Now, the Yzer plan is taking a lot longer than we would like. But having a plan seems to be the same thing that he has in common with Trajan Langdon.
I know you guys talked about this a little bit last week, but Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings, I do feel like in his presser last week, he does feel like you got to get going here a little bit, right? He said there was a free agent out there that I targeted that we did not get. It didn't work out.
Too much money.
I wonder who that was.
Too much money.
I'd love to know who that was. Does anybody have any idea who that might be?
Not really.
But I think
a goaltender. I think it was a goaltender.
He's got like 6 goaltenders.
Yeah. I do get a sense that this is a really big year. Not that Steve Yzerman would ever get fired with the Detroit Red Wings, but
the manager's out there now.
Yeah, he's looking.
There's an available manager out there.
Kenny Holland, you talking about?
Still floating his name up to the.
There's an available manager. Hey, to get Tarasenko here from the Florida Panthers. I mean, the guy's won 2 cups in 3 years.
Pretty good,
I
right?
think that's a good deal. And they were going to get from the Rangers. Who's the captain of the
Trouba.
Rangers? Yeah, Jacob Trouba.
What happened?
They were going to get him. It turns out he couldn't leave New York because his wife has a residency in one of the New York hospitals. So the Rangers, he had to take the Red Wings off of his list because he's a Michigan guy.
Yeah.
He would love to have come to the Red Wings, but his wife messed that deal up. It would have been nice to have him. He's a tough ass. He's a tough guy. Tomas Tatar, he signed with the Devils. So there was a guy I thought maybe he could come back here. There's another guy that signed as well, another former
Phil
Red Wing. Another former Red Wing, and his uncle played for us. Help me. He hit the Toronto.
I got enough.
I don't know. Domi?
No, who was the guy that wouldn't take the shot?
Wouldn't take the shot.
He wouldn't take.
It's killing me. Oh my gosh, Bertuzzi.
Bertuzzi. He was available, and he signed. I forgot. I think he signed with the Leafs. I think.
Really?
I think so. I don't know. Maybe they're going to bring Bertuzzi back.
Wow.
I have no idea. Those are the days that popped into my head when Yzerman talked.
Only thing about Yzerman right now, like I think he needs to move with a little bit more sense of urgency. I think right now we're still seeing him kind of so relaxed and chill and being Stevie Y. Like everybody's looking at him as number 19, the captain. He can take all the time he wants, etc. Certain comments that he makes at the podium, I'm like it's not showing any signs of being intense. One of the things he said was talking about to have a Jameis Winston moment. You know what my trainer always said. What did my trainer always say? But he was talking about after making the roster moves, team seems to be the same. Like, you can't make comments like that when you're at the podium and you're talking about, this is the offseason, and you got this close to the playoffs, and now you're at the podium talking about, well, I mean, I think after the moves we made, our roster is still kind of similar to where it was at. All right, Stevie Y, this is year 5. You ain't made the playoffs yet. You can't make comments like that at the podium.
Kevin Donaldson uncovered it. He's right. It was Steve Stamkos.
It was Stamkos' deal,
An elderly Steve Stamkos.
Yeah. But you don't think that maybe he's really trusting in this young talent going forward? I mean, they didn't miss the playoffs by much. They added a goalie. A lot of people believe that if you had Tolbert on this team last year, they probably do make the playoffs.
Look, DeBrink is going to have a better year. He's going to have a bounce back. DeBrink in the second half of the season was not the guy that we thought we were getting. Understand? And then Kalen with Lucas Raymond, he's took off at the end of the year. We believe he's going to be a player. He'll be better. DeBrink going to be better, so they'll be better players. But you still got to get those killers. You still got to get those guys that are going to help you win a round. We saw last year, just looking at the teams in the playoffs, if they would have limped into the playoffs and somehow would have gotten in instead of the Capitals, they would have got waxed in the first round. Yeah. And I think that's the moves in the offseason that you got to make. You'll make the playoffs next year. I think you already have enough on that team for that. It's about winning in the playoffs, winning a round, or getting to a 7th game in the first round, not just making it, I think.
No doubt, no doubt. Guys, I want to talk a little baseball if we could next. Maz, you're going to the game tonight.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. Beautiful night.
Got to get a break in, but first a message from Guardian Alarm.
That's right. What do you do when you see that black and yellow sign outside?
Stay out.
That's right. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's right. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back after a brief message.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a
Braylon was here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around. Who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supplies has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
A couple guys are not going to have the All-Star break off. Derek Scooble. You've been our guy since opening day. You've been nothing short of amazing. We talked about first pitch strikes, race to 2 strikes, you punch tickets, you show emotion, you dial it up. There's so many parts of this season that have identified you as exactly what this honor bestows upon you. Congrats on your first All-Star. The other one's a player choice too, and the players have noticed some work that's gone in. That's Riley Green. You like 17 homers, you like 39 extra base hits, 911 OPS in April, 912 in June, 1371 in July. Players voted you in. That's a big deal. Congratulations, first All-Star.
How about that? The All-Star game next Tuesday night on Fox. The 2024 All-Stars for the Detroit Tigers. Derek Scooble, no surprise there. And Riley Green.
Yes, sir.
I was a little bit surprised that the Tigers got 2 in. Obviously, if you're going to select 2, those are the 2 that you get. But my goodness, Riley Green.
You heard those numbers
in by the players. Yeah, when you stack the numbers up, pretty darn
OPS
good.
of 931 in May and June, and 1050 all right here in July. The guy is showing up, and he could play a great outfield as well, and he's staying healthy. Knock wood. Yeah. That's the key to Riley Green.
No doubt. And the Detroit Tigers coming off a sweep of the Cincinnati Reds in Cleveland. Did you know that was their first series sweep since the opening series against the Chicago White Sox?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow.
The Tigers with the sweep. First time on the road. Well, no, they swept Chicago on the road.
Boy, they needed that too.
Boy, did they ever. I mean, just when the season was getting away from them, and I still think the season is away from them.
Probably.
I mean, they've got the
just play good
Guardians.
baseball.
They've got Cleveland.
Just play good baseball.
They've got Cleveland and the Dodgers coming up. I mean, how many of those games
That's
do you think
7
they
games.
win?
If you can win 3 of 7, I'm happy.
Can you win 3?
I hope so.
I feel like Cleveland comes in tonight red hot.
Yeah.
But so do the Tigers.
Yeah. Well, they do.
Cleveland's coming off a walk-off win. I
don't think they walked it off yesterday. I thought they won in they scored 5 in the 7th or something like that yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Something like that. Either way, but they're coming off a comeback win. They were down 3-0, won 5-3.
Gotcha.
Comeback win. But see, this is where the Tigers too. You've got Cleveland at home. Cleveland is, I think, shocked everybody this year. 24 games above 500, 56 and 32. I'm just hoping the Tigers avoid a sweep.
Yeah.
Oh, one at a time. Yesterday, Derek Scooble, 13 strikeouts, a career high, and he went through 7 innings effortlessly last night, yesterday afternoon against the Reds. And that's a Reds team that swept the Yankees the series prior. And I know Yankees have not won a series in like their last 7 series. They are collapsing. And the New York media, New York radio is absolutely killing them, asking for Aaron Boone's head on a platter right now. And some guys are doing their job, some guys are not. It's not the old Yankee team where you had 5-6 deep. You got guys that are injured, guys that haven't really played good this year. But Aaron Judge is just, when he's up, I stop everything.
Yeah.
I just want to watch him bat.
I've kind of gotten to that point too.
I just want to watch him bat.
I've kind of gotten to that point as well.
They come here in August, by the way.
Yeah.
And so usually we play them in April.
April or May,
yeah,
I know.
At least we get them now in August. We get to watch Aaron Judge come here to Comerica Park. But I'm looking forward to a good series. I hope they can hang with Cleveland.
So you're going to the park tonight.
Yeah.
4-game series here in Detroit. Looks like a bullpen game for Cleveland. Looks like a bullpen game for the Tigers.
It's like a getaway game because it's a Monday.
And, when that happens, I just think Cleveland's got more offense than Detroit does. So, I mean, it could be a slugfest tonight, probably. Perhaps. What do you think, Maz?
I'm afraid so. I'd like to know the over-under on this. I haven't even looked at a number, but I would put it at 8. I would put the over-under at 8 in this game without even looking at a number.
ESPN.com, 8.5.
I swear.
Yep, there you go.
I swear to God.
There you go.
I'm telling you, man. It's a bullpen game. Set it at an 8.
Right.
And let's see who's the last one to bat wins. I know it's the Tigers.
7-1 Cleveland.
Right.
I don't want to leave in the third inning, man.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave in the third inning.
Man.
I want to make it through the whole damn game.
Look, could the Tigers get a split? Heaven forbid, get the
first one.
Get the first one.
Get the first one.
Can you win a bullpen game with Kiter Montero?
Yeah.
They brought him up. He pitched really well the last time he played.
Yeah.
Last time he pitched. He might be good tonight.
Let's see. Montero, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. Yeah, against the Minnesota Twins.
He pitched well.
It was a 9-2 win. That's right. Gave up 5 runs to Philadelphia, 4 runs to Pittsburgh. So there you go.
How about Paul Skeens?
Oh,
Paul Skeens,
superstar already.
First rookie pitcher, number 1 pick to make it the All-Star game in his first up.
He might be.
He is unbelievable.
Top 5 pitcher right now overall?
If they let him go, they won't let him go past 6.
They don't want to do a Steven Strasburg
they don't want to hurt him.
He's throwing 100 every pitch.
Yeah.
Right.
He gonna throw his
and what was waiting for him yesterday when he got home? Livy Dunn, his girlfriend, had all-star balloons up for him.
You love her, don't you, man?
How do you not? So, I mean, what a great girlfriend. He comes home, and he's got that waiting for him. So, more power to you, Paul Skeens. Congratulations.
Baseball has been great except for one thing. One thing.
What's that?
The batting average of all Major League Baseball players, the average hitter is hitting 242. 242. So if you are hitting 245, you are an above average hitter in Major League Baseball.
I didn't know that 242.
They've got to do something about maybe lower the mound, maybe balances. These pitchers today are throwing so hard. The sweepers, the cutters, the sliders, the changeups. The pitchers have such an advantage in today's baseball where the batting average is the average hitter is hitting 242. Mm-hmm. The number of players that are hitting below 200. Remember when Gerald Laird was hitting 190 as your starting catcher?
By the way, Javi Baez is back.
Thank God
tonight.
for that.
He's back.
Take the under.
Right. For real. Parker Meadows, hamstring yesterday. Ryan Feidler goes down. Whoop, here comes Javi Baez.
Nonetheless,
Javi's here.
Baseball has got to figure something out. I was watching the Dodgers a little bit yesterday, too. I love watching the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani is so good, even when he grounds out. It's like
it's a hard hit.
It is just amazing. He had grounded out to second yesterday with runners on second and third or something like that.
Red Sox beat the Yanks last night, Sunday Night Baseball, because they always have to put those two teams for Sunday Night Baseball. But the Red Sox, Rafael Devers loves batting at Yankee Stadium. He owns the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. 2 solo home runs last night for him, and he waited for the ball to go over the wall before he even started his trot. The hate that these two teams still have for each other is really, really cool. And the All-Star game, like you said, next Tuesday. So next Monday, we'll have a home run derby. It's in Arlington, so the ball flies out in Arlington. Should be a good one. Polar Bears in there again. Pete Alonso. Let's see if he could win his third to tie Ken Griffey Jr. But then next week on Tuesday, let's put up the American League and the National League starters first. We'll put those up. And if you look at these two teams, you got to favor the American League. Run down that lineup for me, Rye.
So you've got Yordan Alvarez from Houston. Sorry, I'm trying to make Judge Soto, Kwan, Henderson, Ramirez, and Altuve. Yordan Alvarez, Adley Rutschman, and Vladimir Guerrero. Vladdy's been he's struggling.
Well, he's been red hot lately.
Well, over the last week, but the first half, I'm saying.
Here comes the National League now with Shohei, of course.
Shohei Ohtani, Contreras for the Brewers. I really like him. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Alec Boehm. Now, is Bryce Harper going to be? I don't think he's going to be all right.
He's hurt still. Yeah. Probably can't play.
Right. Trey Turner hasn't played most of the first half of the season.
He really shouldn't even be a starter, but he is. Philadelphia.
Marte of the Diamondbacks. Christian Yelich, who had a couple of homers in the series.
He's having a good comeback year.
Jurickson Profar.
Having a great year.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
He's hurt too.
Padres hanging around there. Yeah, I mean.
He's hurt as well.
Reserves for the American League. Correa, Duran of the Red Sox. Riley Green. Isaac Paredes, baby. Marcus Semien. And Bobby Witt Jr., who leads the American League in hitting, makes his first All-Star game.
That's a lot of good stuff. I love the All-Star game. Are you guys going to do anything on Fox?
Yeah, I mean, All-Star game is huge.
You're going to be talking to Joe Davis, John
absolutely,
Smoltz?
Absolutely.
How about booking John Smoltz for us?
We're going to try to do that for you, okay? We're going to try to do that for you.
Talk to Smoltzy?
Try to get Smoltzy.
I used to call his dad and get Smoltz.
Really?
Rest in peace, Mr. Smoltz. One of the best.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. I love baseball. I've been watching a lot of baseball.
I love the All-Star game,
Unfortunately, I've been watching a lot of Tigers. Now, the Tigers tonight are on FS1.
Okay.
So, Tigers baseball
in the
Ermanni household. We're going to watch it tonight.
That's awesome.
Otherwise,
you know what makes me feel good always?
What's that?
When I come home and I'm out for a couple hours. I come home and what's on the television? My kids have the baseball game on.
Yeah.
Even if it's background noise.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But my girls, I guess I instilled it in them that they throw the baseball game on. They throw the Tiger game on.
So great.
And I love that.
MLB Network is fantastic, by the way.
It's the best network on TV.
There's just a game on
I love when they have
every day.
5 games up at once.
That's nice, too. They just go.
It's fantastic. Adnan Verk, my guy.
Yeah.
Runs right through them all. So it's great sport,
You a Brian
man.
Kenny guy?
I like Brian Kenny. I like BK. He's a little too number guy for me, but since he's such a big boxing guy,
I know.
I always like Brian Kenny.
I feel like he's always talking down to me.
He does. He is. He does. He's a down talker.
Down to me.
He is a
That's
down
the thing
talker.
with these baseball elite. That's the one thing about baseball elites.
It's the writers.
You know, these writers are just so serious.
We used to, when WJR had the Tigers, Dan Dickerson, Steve Courtney, myself, we'd have the pregame show because it was
Sports Wrap.
on John Sports Wrap. So we'd be down at the park, and it's the old Tiger Stadium press box that was leaning literally almost off of the property. I mean, it was barely hanging on. We would be talking at the end, and we'd be getting the dirtiest looks and the shh. We would have to go outside to the old Lions press box when it was decrepit. Of course, no one went out there. It was decrepit. We'd sit out there and just chill out and laugh at these guys that took their job way too seriously.
Oh, my God.
I mean, come on. Look what Comerica does. Comerica separates now the writers from the radio TV guys.
I know it.
The radio TV guys, all they do is talk.
We're way more fun, by the way.
Way fun.
Yeah.
If you go on the other side, you can hear it's like a church mouse.
It's like you go on the right side where all the radio TV guys are, the windows open, you're talking, you want to hear the feel of the stadium.
Absolutely.
The writers, they have the windows closed, and they're just headphones on, just type it away.
Type it away. I know.
It's all good. We love those guys. It's all good. Hey, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more NFL news to get you to, including what Chris Collinsworth says about the Detroit Lions offseason. We'll get that for you coming up next. But first, a message from Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, Wake Up Woodward in the spot. Woodward Sports has a new morning show, but we've been around a little bit, just a little bit. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and myself every morning as we cover all of Detroit sports, talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, that is Woodward Sports.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. That's why you need to stop on down at Swiss Insurance, and they'll make sure no carrier is slipping in any extra fees. So call Mark at Swiss Insurance today at 313-530-1698. That's right, 313-530-1698. SwissINS.com. Go to SwissINS.com today.
And welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, on a beautiful Monday in the city of Detroit. It's going to be hot this week. Might get some remnants from Hurricane Bertle, too, or Hurricane Beryl, down there in Texas, hammering the state of Texas.
Can you imagine living with that kind of stuff?
No, but we will.
You see what's out, of course, the movie that they're pushing?
No.
Twisters, that's the new movie
remake.
that's coming out.
Really?
And what do they put on Netflix right now, or one of the networks, is the old Twister,
Really?
and it's like the #1 movie.
It's crazy.
So you know the people that are running the new Twisters have paid Netflix, hey, make this old Twister #1 right now. Everyone can watch it so they can get ready for our movie.
Hey, speaking of old movies, my kids are really into Jaws.
Oh yeah,
And Texas getting hammered.
Oh my God!
But did you see
that?
the shark bite in
that woman's
Texas?
Oh my God!
Did you see that, KG?
No, I didn't.
Bit off
I
the
have
back of the
never
woman's leg.
seen anything like that in my life, ever.
God.
And I'm not sure I even want to ever see it again. But then, the Good Samaritans pulling that lady out of the water with blood all over like it's a movie scene.
Jesus.
Slapping her in the face, trying to keep her awake so she doesn't go see she's losing so much blood.
Oh man.
And then you zoom in and there's two sharks coming like right near the shore, just two circling.
Jesus.
And I'm thinking to myself, because I was just in Lake Michigan over the weekend, how fortunate are we? How fortunate are we that we are just surrounded by fresh water?
Yeah.
Because I would never go on a jet ski in the ocean. Part of our culture in the state of Michigan and where we live is being out on the water.
Yeah.
Fishing, paddleboarding, tubing, jet skiing, water skiing.
Now, I'm an ocean guy.
I just could never imagine, like, for instance, up north, where get up in the morning and go out on a jet ski. The water's beautiful out there. There's rain out. It was raining for most of it, but when it's raining out there, the water was kind of calm. So you just cruise around on the jet ski. I would never do that in the ocean, ever.
Do you not like going to the beach? The real beach?
I like going to the beach. We go to the beach for spring break, for the kids' spring break. We go to Siesta Key.
Yeah.
It's right on the Gulf.
Yeah.
I do go in the ocean. Barely.
Yeah, to a certain point.
Barely.
I'm the same way.
Point, KG.
I go to Myrtle Beach. I never get in that water all the way.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I mean,
you guys crack me up.
Maybe I watch too many horror movies. Horror movies.
I think you do.
Yeah. It happens in real life more than you think, though.
Right. I mean, and social media does not make it any better. Right? Social media and just the visual that I have of this lady's leg getting bit off, like the scene in Jaws.
Now, your kids have never seen Jaws, I hope.
Yes.
They've watched it?
They've watched it. Luke, my little guy Luke is glued to Jaws.
Wow.
Loves it. Loves it.
He loves playing movie theater.
Yeah, he does.
That in school.
Oh, man. We
Top
had
2 games.
I've been in this Hollywood is such a racket, okay? Despicable Me 4, number one movie at the box office.
In and Out. What's the
Inside Out 2.
Inside Out.
Like anytime there's an animated movie that is released at theaters, I mean, we're there.
How about
and
Garfield?
It is packed. Garfield. I mean, these theaters are packed with schleps like me that take their kids to the movies.
Yep.
You know, and
well, that's okay.
It doesn't even have to be a good movie. I mean, I thought Despicable Me 4 was like not great.
Right.
Most of these movies are not great. But you go, and the kids say, "Oh, they're so good." Oh my
Going
goodness.
to the movies is great, man.
Absolutely. Hey, 14 years ago today, before I just get to what Chris Collinsworth said, 14 years ago today was the decision.
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
This is tough.
Take my talents to South Beach.
Oh, my God.
Oh, is that the worst?
Who coached him on that?
I think that was one of the
that
worst.
ruined him.
You talk about the decision, right? That was one of the worst things that ever happened to LeBron James.
Absolutely.
Like for as much as his PR team has done right, that was a major fail. Everything about that quote unquote decision was bad.
I've hated him since that minute.
And most people have too.
Since that minute. And it's only gotten worse.
Most people that do hate LeBron James, it started June 8th. 2006 or whatever.
That is correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Most people that hate LeBron James, it started June 8th with that decision 14 years ago today.
Oh, my God.
It's so great. Anyway, Chris Collinsworth, Tom Mazaway loves the Lions off season.
He does. I'm not the biggest Chris Collinsworth fan, but I love what he did with Pro Football Focus. That's his baby, and he's done a nice job with it. And he loves what they've done, right? Especially with DJ Reader.
Absolutely. And Terrion Arnold says he loves the decision to draft first-round quarterback Terrion Arnold to go along with the Bucs' Carlton Davis and DJ Reader. If he stays healthy, Aleem McNeil may be unstoppable up front. Really good offseason for the Detroit Lions. I mean, this feels like so much buzz, and one of the reasons why Chris Collinsworth he's talking about the Lions now is because he said this is the week that he starts prepping for week 1 of the NBC games. The 4 teams. He's got the Thursday night season opener.
Chiefs, Ravens.
And then the Lions, Rams. And he really likes what the Rams do.
Oh, yeah.
And did this
Even though they've lost. They lost Aaron Donald,
absolutely.
but that defense is still pretty formidable.
Yeah,
with the guys they have.
So I just thought that was interesting to see what a lot of these guys say. And I haven't heard, Collinsworth aside, I haven't heard one guy say one bad thing about the Lions actually, which I would say in the past that scares me a little bit, but it doesn't scare me because I do believe that this is a year where you can let these expectations run wild. And you've got Aiden Hutchinson talking about what a Super Bowl would mean to the Detroit Lions, and so many people talking about Super Bowl. I do believe that is the expectation with this franchise.
Oh, it has to be.
And I don't think it's one that they have to win the Super Bowl, but I do believe that they are the best team in the NFC. Better than Green Bay, better than San Francisco, better than Philadelphia, better than Washington, better than the Rams.
You know the rule. Whoever's the healthiest at the end will usually win.
That might be the case. It's probably the case. But again, even if health is a concern and nobody is going to expect anybody to play 17 games, hopefully the quarterback does. But outside of that, not sure if Gibbs or Amon-Ra or Laporta. It's going to be dings and bangs and bruises along the way. Which team has the most depth where you can sustain an injury or two? I'm not talking about one of those season-long injuries. I'm just talking about last year. You had Amon-Ra miss a game. You had Montgomery out for 4 games. You had Gibbs out for a game here or there. Laporta was banged up at the end of the year, was playing hurt. Which team is best capable or best suited? No doubt, best suited to sustain that type of loss.
We were at that game, Minnesota game, when they lost him and they lost their kick returner. They lost
Khalif Raymond.
Yeah, Khalif Raymond.
Yeah.
And they lucked out on
Khalif
Laporta.
never came back.
He didn't come back.
No, he didn't.
But he should be back healthy this year. I hate to like end the show on a bad note, but we have to bring it up. Kyrie Jackson, young cornerback taken out of Oregon, 4th round pick of the Vikings. Out driving with 2 of his high school teammates, and a drunk driver hit him, and they passed, the 3 of them. All young men with futures ahead of them. It just breaks my heart that something like that happened because of a drunk driver.
Yeah. It is terrible. I saw this over the weekend, and you think of, forget about football. You think of, the lives that were robbed. The
3 guys just joyriding, hanging out together.
Terrible.
Every time my kids go out in the car with their friends, I tell them, girls, be careful. Not you. Watch your surroundings.
Right.
Yeah. Be careful. God, man. It's the scariest thing that is to let your kids go.
Mm.
And because you don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Right.
And that's a sin, what just happened there. Absolute sin.
Such a shame.
Young man.
Yeah, our
4th
thoughts are
round
with
pick.
his family and, just you're robbed of anything.
You worked so hard to get there, and then it's just couldn't even enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Think about that. And it's hard not to think about the football aspect of it too, because of all the work that you put into that sport growing up, and being driven to all the practices and going to all the camps and doing all the weightlifting early in the morning, and you finally get to where you've worked so hard to get to, and it's just taken from you.
Yep.
It's just stolen from you.
Hey, I don't want to leave on a bad note, so I'll leave on a good note. Did you see what Tom Brady did on a beach football game?
I did not see that.
He's playing with the Fanatics owner, Michael Rubin, put this all together. So check out Tom Brady, and he gets intercepted by none other than DeMar Hamlin.
First pick. We got Trav, we got OBJ coming.
They got 2 quarterbacks. You're not doing that. CJ, this way. Look at all types of skill levels over here. He's so ready. Look at that blocking, Tom. What it look like? What it look like? What we doing? Come on, Tom. Damn, that's all day. Now you want to check out? What's going on here?
You know Michael's going to bring his A game every time.
There you go. Oh, there we go, CJ. Another CJ. What we doing?
We good, bro.
Yes, go.
That's These boys tired.
I got me one from TV.
Good game, boys. Good game. Hey, you gotta keep consistent. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did good, man. Just got them reps in, man.
How about it?
So great. I hate Fanatics, by the way.
I know.
Horrible.
There's a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
A lot of people that do. They bought everything out.
Yeah.
And no matter where you go, NHL.com, NBA.com, MLB,
Monopoly.
especially NFL, they got it all.
Yeah.
They took it all. So when I used to buy a jersey, it was Majestic. Majestic, I know how it fits.
Yeah.
Now you buy one, you really have no idea how it fits. They come down to my knees usually, these jerseys now. But, you know, it is what it is. A lot of people are complaining about it. Major League Baseball will change their uniform next year again to see maybe it'll be improved. Now they got hockey.
Unbelievable.
They did the hockey jerseys now.
Yeah.
The NHL
Terrible.
jerseys.
I wish I would have planned my night better. I would have liked to gone to the park with you.
I wish you would have.
Dang.
It's all right. Another time.
Yeah, you got tickets or you get in with your credential?
No, I'm going to go as a media member tonight.
God.
Yeah, I'm going to go as a media member tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's
okay.
good.
Let's check it. It's been 28 years.
The crowd's been like? I mean, I know they've been on the road for 2 weeks essentially, but what have the crowds been like there?
They've been good, man. You know, I go a lot of times with my family,
right?
As a paying customer,
right?
And the stadium is decently full. Cleveland has broken their record already for most fans for a half a season already. So they're going out, they're flocking out to see the Guardians. If the Tigers win, you know we pack that place.
Right.
I mean, 06 to 14, we packed that place.
Right. It's beautiful.
Every single night of the week.
40,000 every night.
Unbelievable.
The Dodgers,
Every night.
It'll be standing room only.
Oh, man.
It's this
I wanna go see
weekend.
Shohei.
You ought to play in a game.
I know.
You ought to play in a game.
Good stuff. All right, Maz. Good stuff out of you today. Braylon is going to be back tomorrow. Braylon will be in all week. For KG, Tom Mazaway, James, Pete, myself, thanks for being here with us. Heavyweights tonight, 5 to 7. Stay tuned for that.
All right.
Good show today. Good start to the week. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.